or born humoting, or ye bibia se humbe how. Me ba Abronye Ghana. I saw the joy in the eyes of Ghanaians. And you'll be on the whisker of Ghana. And you'll be on the Tumitomo. And you'll be on the Tumitako. But there's something in there. There was some joy in there. There was some hope. And that is what we are talking about. O my chichire. Eye jidie eni adwumaden ena de chichire man. America for drew her because no more believe no and no more say hard working. That is all that we need. Inti mama may rain fear one term. Met match show omomudi Kennedy Japan chi, omomudi Baomi chi, omomudi Komne Japan chi, omomudi Kentre chi, omomudi Sankwas nechi. They are the same people who did us damage. Trauma na ye komuno sankofu we are. Now, Menoka say, as we speak, lower fuel prices, not enough for fare reduction yet. Ghana Private Road Transport Union. Yes, say GPRTU for say, even though petrol buako formono omudie informo ho. And I advise the government and I advise investors. This is the time the government needs to veer into their private, their public transportation. I think I will say Abronye estate investing in buses, making sure that we have enough public transportation in Ghana. I think it's about time. Because your uncle of mine upon all that is happening, still politics, still pettiness, still the government should take the initiative. If the government is going to engage 5 people who have money to collaborate with the government or partner the government to invest in public transport more, I think this nonsense will stop. We cannot have a small association that determines prices, even when determines fares, even when fuel prices come down. No, we cannot have. This country is too big to have just GPRTU holding the country at ransom and determining, say, price back from and say from. No. So we need to change our ways now. And because by this time, GPRTU one of the unrecognized associations in Ghana. Because we knew it maybe on here. So individuals say are buying any investors about together said they are going to bring more buses, partnering with the government, and the government at the end of the day Sebio all taking a little bit of the cost and making public or government transportation easier. And because some GPRT Association of Drivers, they can because why did they even have the power to even say petrol boko for so? What the heck is GPRTU? Bas Papa Ben Pa and a GPRTU DC a Ghana a coin swa a save Ghana for lives. GPRTU yet can they point to their own buses that are helping this nation? No, they don't even have buses. Inventory there were 10,000 buses. They run in the name of GPRTU. They are just registering people's cars and say we are taking money from you. That's what they are doing. GPRTU is extorting from drivers. GPRTU. Into Baba registration. They don't do anything. It's about time the government engaged. So government be engaging the private sector. The government should invest in public transport. If the government can build good roads, then the government can invest in good vehicles to make sure, say, access to buses in Ghana. If we are able to get a lot of access to government buses, prices not ever decent enough. You will see people coming out with better ideas. GPRTU is a cake. They have left it's a useless association. A dear partner, we are driving near Oshemia, GPRTU pa a yama driver for. A dear partner, oh, ya tise BBSC, inti, ya pese ya bekasa, ngwasya samsa, appetition for nkwa. And I think it's about time government started getting bold in taking some decisions. We, even the people at the point, might not understand or might push back a little bit, but at the end of the day, it will benefit us. Because Abronye decided, say, it wants to invest in public transport. Every region, Abronye said, I am going to make sure I get 5,000 buses for every region. 5,000 buses. Half of those buses are all the EV buses. Government brings in the buses. They get the people who want to run it. They sign agreements with them about maintenance and all these things. Those people are supposed to make sure the buses are in good condition. If the government does not want to take the burden of maintaining and doing that, the government can bring the buses in and qualified companies can come in for the buses. And then what happens is that the revenue, either the government gets 70%, those investors get 30%. And kariketi buses, buses and can the nipa point juma 6 or 6:30. Because then there will be point juma 6, 5:30. No, I could do 10. All because I was so cost line. GPRT kwasi ampenyi bi one petition be say yenko. We are not supposed to allow some associations to monopolize our transportation. No. You trust our point, whereby a mere association monopolizes or determines fares of cars, even though petrol prices were formed. No, we have gotten to that point where a government should be able to operationalize or operate the transportation system to the benefit of the people. It's a buying for buses, Nembra. If government doesn't want to take that burden, because we have seen what has happened to Metro Mass, whereby when we hand it over to a government, the monitoring, the supervision, it is not as effective. Now, what we can do is bring the buses in, get investors or people who are willing to operate it. Now, we tell them this is government bus. Even though your company is going to run this bus, 30% of the proceeds comes to you, 70% comes to the government. Maintenance, maybe you split with the government, or if you want to do the maintenance, you will take 35% of the revenue. If you can't do it, walk. This is not a time where people are supposed to make so much money out of government. This is the time government has to be judicious in sharing the resource. So I think if the government decides to go to Asia and speak to some of these companies, they will be willing to give us 20,000 buses, 50,000 buses to make sure every single part of this nation, the municipal assemblies can run these buses, add it to their internally generated funds, and then at the end of the day, they are audited for us to know how much we are making from these buses. So we can break it down into small pieces. We can start the bus transportation from municipal. Government give municipal assemblies the buses. Government makes sure the municipal have the maintenance part of it. Now, what happens is if somebody wants to run those buses, they will deal with the municipal assembly. So every municipality, they know their buses they are running. At the end of the year, the internal auditors will do, and the auditor general himself will audit them. We will know if the buses are deteriorating. We know who to hold accountable. That is what we do. We need to break governance down into small bits. When we do it like that, we can decentralize governance. We don't have to have GPRT who tell me, say, anti-petrol. So now a government worker, civil servant, teacher ni, police ni, ako jina bank, ashe bank to 5 p.m. or pe car keke ako fie, a 30 minutes drive. Now we jina na aswa another 4 hours. How are you going to kill corruption? How are you going to help the people? The transport minister needs to be proactive. And this GPRTU nonsense thing, we need to start getting rid of them. Almost slow your transportation system down. Guys, let's get proactive. Let's start thinking. Let's start breaking governance down into small bits. We have made governance too huge. And it's not any Breno. We have made governance too big. Let us simplify governance. Obakroma, your county, your state, your federal. Let us try and break governance down. Let us make it easy. And this nonsense will never happen. Abronye from Abronye will say there is a transportation group be almost no. You cannot. Inti senka yo bibisa anka GPRTU entumba bontin meka say yati petrol. So what's your problem with petrol yati so ada yatum? What's your job? GPRTU for majuma nkasa pa ne den. GPRTU for inti police ni akotena bank 5 hours. Police ni akotena bank 5 hours. Ope car free circle ako oyarefa. Na wako jina ho 4 hours unim the uniform no be. Do you know what he's going to use his uniform for? Or the uniform no be intimidate in for any the opportunity to extort them or to get access to cars to go home. Do you know the number of police officers in Ghana? Do you know the number of custom officers in Ghana? Do you know the number of uniform officers in Ghana? So it trickles. Make life easy for the people.